Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem HaRakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, great most on the rule well. Shalom to the brothers doing the work, certain truth. Shalom. Yeah, I wanted to just touch on your Korah, because he's kind of a key example of that rebellious Jake spirit, and how Jake in general. These guys, hate order, hate being in order, and a lot of these guys out here they want to be the top guy, and it's something that's still evident, can be observed to this day, because you got IUI, CISUPK, you got these rebellious heads, and then it's you go through the scriptures. That's not nothing new. Having people thinking about their own glory or filling, their wallet. These things are basically exposing they're not truly about fulfilling that role, that position they're in. Korah's, a key example. You can just look to the stories, but it was recorded down, and there's reference to as well. So starting at number 16 and 1, it says, "Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, and the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men, and they rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown." So it wasn't even like shabby youths. It said men of renown. But then that's how it can be. They'll get caught up because they might stroke their ego, or get enticed and think, you know what, maybe maybe I can get that spot. It says what? "And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, Ye take too much upon yourselves. All the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord Yahweh is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of the Lord Yahweh." What's the reality of it? Is saying you're taking too much on yourselves. You're not saying it because now you're working so hard. Now you're saying because look, man, I deserve a slice of that. Is really the mindset. But then it's one of those things. The guys don't realize what comes with those positions. Eleazar's an example, man. Man just appeared out of nowhere, then tried to give him the supreme high priest position, legendary supreme high priest on the highest level that no one can even rebuke or say anything to. But then if you have that, you take that spot upon yourself, you got to know what comes with it. Just like with Esau taking the law upon himself, he took the law upon himself, but was he fully aware of what he was doing? Like what that would mean essentially for how he said I was going to operate? No. Because if it's one of those things, it's like in retrospect, a lot of people will be like, nah. Acts 19 and 11, and it says, "And the Most High wrought miracles by the hands of Paul, so that from his body were brought up onto the sick handkerchiefs or aprons, and the diseases departed from them, and the evil spirits went out of them." Yeah, so Paul had the spirit on him to do miracles. And that's legendary, man. So, you could just touch a napkin, touch a handkerchief, and then just, dash it on the man, and then, spirits leaving him, diseases departing. It was heavy. But then what? Verse 13, "Then certain of the vagabond Jews, exorcists, took upon them to call over them which had evil spirits the name of the Lord Yahushua, saying, We adjure you by Yahushua, whom Paul preacheth. And there were 7 sons of one Sceva, a Jew and chief of the priests, which did so. And the evil spirits answered and said, Yahweh Shai I know, and Paul I know, but who are ye? So yeah, these, similar to what Korah's doing, these guys basically tried to just take on that role by themselves, and then they weren't, they found out, they weren't, capable. Because what it says is, Yahweh Shai I know, Paul I know, but who are ye? And it said, so if they weren't, they weren't capable, and that's the reality of people lusting after. Because even in this world, in the so-called honorable spots of honor, positions of honor within this world, people lust for them, but they don't know what it takes to get to that spot. And then even with, in a carnal sense, still, it takes, a certain level of talent, capability, or to get into any of those kind of spots. And a lot of people don't have the capabilities, because what it's saying, the man in whom the evil spirit was leaped on them and overcame them and prevailed against them, so that they fled out the house naked and wounded. So he laid the smack down, yeah, and tore their clothes off, and then man had to scarp her. And that's the thing is you're taking on a certain responsibility or capability, but then they didn't have the means. And that's the reality of how these things can be. You basically need to be tried and refined to be built up to a certain level. Anyone trying to come in and just be like, okay, you've been in 2 weeks, and then you're trying to be like, okay, I'm you're on the most supreme level. You don't know what's going on. John 10 and 11, it says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth. The wolf catcheth the sheep. No, the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. So yeah, you have, a lot of people in these leadership roles, these head roles, where it's what, they're hirelings. They're basically about it for their own gain. They're not really watching for the sheep. The hireling fleeth because he is an hireling and careth not for the sheep. I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. And yeah, for Yahweh Shai, he's the good shepherd. He knows his sheep. But then what the hireling is basically just about fill his own stomach, man. He ain't watching for the sheep. And then even, Jeremiah 14:2, the gates thereof languish. The leadership, the heads of Jake have done languish. To whereas, the people that are being looked up to now on the tail end, even if, inside Israel, outside of Israel as well, just in the general world, you have a bunch of, people put up where there's nothing to be gained following them. Then you have, people that are about their own gain. IUIC is a key one, where they're not teaching the key prophecies, key scriptures. These things aren't being mentioned. Meanwhile, they'll try and come against GMS, what's being taught, come against the prophecies, which that's meant to be key. The testimony of Yahweh Shai is a spirit of prophecy. So speaking of what's to come, the time of Jacob's trouble, the MOTB, the micro C hip, those things should be key. World War III, that's all up and down prophecy, all up and down the scriptures. So like, but then those things aren't being spoken of. But then when what do you call it, the the C19, the jump shot came out, then that was something that was essentially pushed immediately. It's saying you go take that. Matthew 23:1, it says, Then spake Yahweh Shai to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, The scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So yeah, this is where you have an example of what would have happened if they got the seat. Because you got the wicked scribes and Pharisees where they had Moses' seat. Then what were they doing with it? All therefore whatsoever, all therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do ye not after their works, for they say and do not. So they're not even living what they're saying. And that's a big aspect of the current culture, the current spirit of these times. Because why? That's how Esau, maneuvers. He's that deceiver, that subtle creature, more subtle than any creature in the garden. And then what? That's he rather than dealing with things straight up, he deals with it, in the shadows, behind closed doors. And that's the same spirit those that follow after him come under as well, where they'll present that front and say like, yeah, say you're meant to be conducting yourself, but then you go behind closed doors, they don't follow after it. Which is why you had, all kinds of slime and filth coming out in IUIC as well. Adultery, all kinds of madness going down in the background as well. And then, it's entertaining. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. Yeah, they do all their works to be seen of men. And that's really a big aspect of how these guys get down. These guys are doing it because they want that shine. They want to, have that glory right now. They want people to look at them like, yeah. Like, damn, these guys, they're really the prophets. They're really, oof. But then, in the long run, what's that really worth? Ain't worth a damn thing. And they make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments and love the uppermost rooms at feasts and the chief seats in the synagogues and greetings in the markets to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. So yeah, they basically want all the carnal dainties that come with the role, but then the actual responsibilities, you go down through the chapter, we'll go into how, these guys are confounding even those that are coming to them for learning. Because why? The spirit ain't dealing with them. They don't have the means, man. That's why when Yahweh Shai was on the scene, they were against him. That's that same spirit. So back in Numbers 16:4 says, and when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face, and he spake unto Korah and unto all his company, saying, even tomorrow the Lord Yahweh will show who are his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near unto him, even him who he hath chosen, he will cause to come near unto him. Yeah, and that's how it is with whoever basically the Lord's dealing with versus not. The Lord will make it explicitly clear. It's the same with prophecies. Those that are speaking the truth, that is basically going to be found. And those that had lies put in their mouth, it's going to be the inverse. They're going to be found to be liars. This do take you censers Korah and all his company, and put fire therein, and put incense in them before the Lord Yahweh tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord Yahweh doth choose, he shall be holy. Ye take too much upon you, ye sons of Levi. And yeah, that's the reality of it is they are taking too much upon themselves. These guys are thinking that they're going to be able to do what Moses did, but Moses was set up and established, for that particular office and purpose. And that's how it is with all the men of the Lord. Was it Jeremiah 1:5? Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Because why? The Lord basically has it set up. Who his men are going to be. They're set up in the spirit beforehand. And Moses said unto Korah, here I pray you, ye sons of Levi, seemeth it but a small thing unto you, that the power of Israel hath separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tabernacle of the Lord Yahweh. and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them. And he hath brought thee near to him, and all thy brethren, the sons of Levi, with thee, and seek ye the priesthood also. Yeah, so they've been given an offer. They were Levites anyway. So they had the Levitical priesthood to fulfill, which was already an honor, but then they were seeking more. They were seeking further things, which really speaks to it. It's, they had, they were like, yo, let's take Aaron's spot too. Proverbs 25:16. Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled with therewith and vomit it. Yeah. So with that honey, and you go to, I believe it's in Ezekiel and in Revelation as well. Revelation, it's a little scroll. Was it a little book? And then I think Ezekiel's a little scroll where, in the mouth it's sweet as honey, but then in the belly it turns bitter, for the scriptures. So it's like, eat as much honey as sufficient, lest thou be filled therewith and vomit. So you're not meant to, try and overdo and get on some super duper level beyond what you're meant to do. You're obviously meant to be, be meditating on the scriptures, be in the scriptures, and be all, abounding and growing within them. But then you have those where they're trying to utilize it to try and be like, okay, I'm gonna get on some super level, and that's really what Korah's spirit was. It was just thinking like the office had been given. He didn't even regard what the Levitical priesthood as anything worthwhile. He was thinking like, yeah, let me get that tops. Let me do what Moses is doing. Luke 14:28. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it, lest haply after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him. And yeah, that's the nature of this truth. It's something you've got to count the cost before you engage with it, and it's something that Korah clearly didn't account for. He didn't even put his mind to it, because why? He would have realized, like, all that Moses and Aaron accomplished. Like, why is he gonna try and just slide in at the last minute? The reason it was even out there in the wilderness was because of Moses and Aaron being set up. Moses got put in a particular position to fulfill what he needed to fulfill. But then that's, you're looking at it carnally. Just seeing like, oh, like it said, broaden the phylacteries. Essentially just kind of looking like, there's some glamour, there's some glitzer associated with that role. Saying, this man began to build but was not able to finish, or that king going to make war against another king, or what king going to make war against another king, sitteth not down first and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000, or else, while the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassage and desireth conditions of peace. So likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he hath, he cannot be my disciple. So yeah, with those, that role, it requires you to count the cost, you to basically see like, what's this gonna take. And then once you edit, you can't then just be like, nah, this is too much. Because if you turn from the plow, then you basically seal the judgment on yourself. Back in Numbers 16, verse 11. For which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord Jehovah. And what is Aaron that you murmur against him? And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, we will not come up. It is a small thing that thou hast brought us out of the land that floweth with milk and honey, to kill us in the wilderness, except thou make thyself altogether a prince over us. Looking at it calmly. And this is just why these guys need to get wasted in the wilderness, man. Men are referring to Egypt, the land of milk and honey. Like, you're in bondage, bro. But then it's the same thing with now. With the new Egypt, with the new Sodom, you know, with the new Babylon. They're basically looking at as they've, well, like it's something great, the position they have in it. Because, you know, they might be able to get, you know, a little pussy, a little money, a little kind of lifestyle. And then they're looking at it as like that. Really, these guys want to be princes over Israel anyway. And that's what they're pursuing themselves. So it's ironic. They're accusing Moses of that. What does it say, verse 14? Moreover, thou hast not brought us into a land that floweth with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Wilt thou put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. And Moses was very wroth, and said unto the Lord Jehovah, respect not thou their offering. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them. And Moses said unto Korah, be thou and all thy company before the Lord Jehovah, thou and they and Aaron tomorrow, and take every man his censer, and put incense in them, and bring ye before the Lord Jehovah every man his censer, 250 censers, thou also and Aaron each of you his censer. And they took every man his censer, and put fire in them, and laid incense thereon, and stood in the door of the tabernacle of the congregation with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord Jehovah appeared unto all the congregation. So yeah, he was standing firm in, you know, in his staunch in his stance. But then again, like what you clearly can't see what role Moses was set up for, and the fact that you even were you spoiled the Egyptians, you got to leave, you saw all the miracles, man. Like but then that's why these guys, these men had to die out in the wilderness. Wait. Okay. Was it 15? Because that rebellious spirit is, it's not new, and it's something that persisted throughout. You go through Judges afterwards. It was a repeat offense time and again where, Jake would, go out and worship after the heathen and not, follow the instructions. But then, okay. So, yeah. And Samuel said, so where was it? So 1 Samuel 15:15, and Saul said, they have brought them, 16, Salak. So 1 Samuel 15:16, Then Samuel said unto Saul, Stay, and I will tell thee what the Lord Yahweh hath said unto me this night. And he said unto him, Say on. And Samuel said, When thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel? And the Lord Yahweh anointed thee king over Israel. And the Lord Yahweh sent thee on a journey and said, Go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord Yahweh, but didst fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of the Lord Yahweh? And yeah, Korah's coming in that same spirit, which is what, the spirit of rebellion. Because he had the office of Levitical priest. But then he was like, nah, I want Aaron and Moses' office. So that's the office I need to be dealing with, which, is complete madness to just come and slide up. But and fight until they be consumed. And Saul said on verse 20, and Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord Yahweh, and have gone the way which the Lord Yahweh sent me, and have brought Agag the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took of the spoil sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto the Lord Yahweh thy power in Gilgal. And Samuel said, Hath the Lord Yahweh as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord Yahweh? And yeah, have that's the reality of it. Has the Most Guy got as much like it's basically following orders, man. That's far more precious, and that's something that is key to all the men, the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, all the men that he established, they follow instruction. A good example is with Abraham, going to sacrifice Isaac, where it was like, it was a son that he finally got, the heir, but then was willing to even then just be like, okay, well, the Lord will make it work out somehow, and then was going to follow through on it. And then, it did work out. But then that, those, that's the mindset, the spirit of the elect. But then you have those rebellious jakes, and this is their mindset, man. Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord Yahweh. He hath also rejected thee from being king. And yeah, that's basically how it is. It's, you have those instructions. That's the thing is, as an Israelite, now obviously we discontinue from our heritage. Got, the bulk of Israel in America not knowing who the hell they are. They're basically being, been given a whole new identity. But the reality of it is, you stumble upon that word. If you're the elect, you're going to stumble upon the word. And then it's going to hit your spirit. The Spirit's going to work with you to then understand the scriptures. And then, come over to this side, basically. But then for those that are the opposite, where, they hear it, that, they got that rebellious spirit of thinking, like, why should I? Then, it's going to be that same thing. They're going to get rejected. So, what was it? Numbers. So, yeah, let me skip down a bit. So, Numbers 16:25. And Moses rose up and went unto Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him, and he spake. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest ye be consumed in all their sins. So they got up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan and Abiram on every side. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood in the doors of their tents, and their wives and their sons and their little children. And Moses said, hereby ye shall know that the Lord Yahweh hath sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of mine own mind. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord Yahweh hath not sent me. But if the Lord Yahweh hath make a new thing, and the earth open their mouth and swallow them up, and all that appertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, and then ye shall understand that these men have provoked the Lord Yahweh. And it came to pass, as he made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that appertain unto Korah, and all their goods. They and all that appertain to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation. So yeah. So the Lord basically had it where they got a supreme judgment. The earth swallowed them up. And that's, what's not considered in that rebellious mindset. But it's because they lack faith. They don't think as far as for them, Yahweh Hashem, Yahshua Hashem Kakadash is not, is not someone worth consideration. They don't have any fear when it comes to him. Which then results in, when the judgment comes, it comes like a shot, like a thief in the night. But the reality is they were given ample warning. Because, what was I gonna get? So, with, to follow up on Saul, was to say, First Samuel 16:14, but the spirit of the Lord Yahweh departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord Yahweh troubled him. So he got hit with that evil spirit, that spirit of the Lord Yahweh that was upon him, that got taken off. And then what? An evil spirit got put on him. And that's how jacked up people can get. You see that, evil spirits doing hella work in this current age. But then now it's people are damn. People are not looking at things in a spirit with a spiritual eye presently. They're looking at things carnally. It's like you see something, you're like, damn, the Lord just allowed that guy to get jacked the fuck up. Bugged out. But then, people looking at, look at it carnally, oh, why he's got, his mental health issues and blah, blah, blah. So he needs some medication, or he needs this, that. But, hey, it's judgments, man. And we're, living in a time where we're going to see, a supreme amount of judgments. Because even for those that don't teach that word, teach the word correctly, they're basically playing with, what the Lord sent down to be delivered to his people. Then you have the end result's going to be, when the prophecy's fulfilled, they're going to be shown for who they are. And then as well, heavy death, man. What does it say? A lot of people got to know it by death by pain, man. 1 Kings 22:19, and he said, hear thou therefore the word of the Lord Yahweh. I saw the Lord Yahweh sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. And the Lord Yahweh said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? So yeah, those, it was the council in the heavens, the angels will call forth, and then they will call forth what? To deceive Ahab, so he goes and gets destroyed at Ramoth Gilead. And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord Yahweh and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord Yahweh said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I'll be a lying spirit in the mouth of all these prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him, and prevail also, go forth and do so. Yeah, so you have those lying spirits sent out. And that's what a lot of these guys get open up to. You know, take a bag, or they'll basically think, you know, they think that they lack that fear of the Lord to where they just start chopping and changing it however they desire to fulfill their own, you know, desires. So the word basically serves them rather than the purpose it was sent for. But then what's the end result? Catch some spirits on you, man. And then even with Korah as well, he was, you know, his story was recorded as an example to be used going forward. And you got a lot of men in the scriptures where, you know, their role was to be a legendary wicked example amongst Israel. Jude 1 and 4, for there are certain men crept in unawares, who were before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men, turning the grace of our power into lasciviousness, and denying the only Lord God and our Lord Hamashiach Yahushua. I will therefore put you in remembrance, though you once knew this, how that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterwards destroyed them that believe not. And yeah, Korah is among that number, man. Because it's going to be even more explicit now, where those that don't believe, those that aren't of the elect, aren't even going to have the opportunity to partake, you know, in the deliverance. They're going to have to get taken out and then come back through the elect later on down the line. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness, unto the judgment of the great day. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah, and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication, and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah ensamples as well. They're examples of you know how not to live. And then, you know, you go to Revelation to know that the current rulership, you know, Babylon the Great, is in that same spirit of Sodom in Egypt. Those you know, those spirits had them invite destruction upon themselves. Then it's clear why now, you know, judgment's going to be required against this place, against you know, chiefly America. Other spots going to get hit as well, and then Esau's going to get taken out of the way, man, out of the rule. It says, likewise also these filthy dreamers defile the flesh, despise dominion, and speak evil of dignities. Yet Michael the archangel, when contending with the devil, he disputed about the body of Moses, durst not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, the Lord Yahweh rebuketh thee. But these speak evil things which they know not, but what they know naturally is brute beasts, and those things they corrupt themselves. And yeah, that's this whole spiritual aspect and approach to things in view and understanding is alien to them. They can't, you know, they've basically had a dampener put on them, or had a block put on them to get it to where that's why they just look at things, you know, carnally and just think like, there's no how you know, things they understand in the flesh. It says, woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Cain, and ran greedily after the error of Balaam for reward, and perished in the gainsaying of Korah. So yeah, that's what, you know, Korah's at a footnote of what, someone not to follow. That's the end result of him basically, in his pride, trying to just usurp a spot that wasn't for him, trying to do too much. And there's, countless examples throughout the scriptures, but that's just one to go to. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, shalom.